Tasya Pa 306. Ani prekshayati papinopi papa sindhu charani Niramaduribhyapya shesha chitta bandhani Mam punatu sarvajara vinda bandhu nandini Hari vari jaraya bimanju toru kandava Punjarika mandalo jarandanjali chandava Snana kama pamarogra papa samparandini Mam punatu sarvajara vinda bandhu nandini Shikarya vimrischa jantu durvipaka mardini Nandanantanantaranga bhakti puravardini Tirasangamabilasi mangalanubandini Mam punatu sarvajara vinda bandhu nandini Dvipa Chakravala Jushta Sapta Sindhu Bedini Shri Mukunda Nirmitoru Divya Keli Vedani Kanti Kanda Libirindra Nila Vrindanindini Mam Punatu Sarvajara Vrinda Bandhu Nandini Maturena Mandalena Charuna Bimandita Premanada Vaishnavadva Vardhanaya Pandita Urmidor Vilasa Padmanabha Pada Vandini Mampunatu Sarvadara Vinda Bandhu Nandini Ramya Tira Rambamana Gokadamba Bhushita Divya Ganda Bhakadamba Pushparaji Ruchita Nanda Sunu Bhakta Sangha Sangama Binandini Mampunatu Sarvajara Vinda Bandhu Nandini Pula Paksha Malikaksha Hamsa Laksha Kujita Bhakti Vida Deva Siddha Kinnarali Pujita Tira Ganda Vahaganda Janma Bandharandini Mampunatu Sarvajara Vinda Bandhu Nandini Chit Vilasa Varipura Burbhuva Swararpani Kirti Tapi Durmadoru Papa Marma Tapini Balavendra Nandanangaraga Banga Gandhani Punatu Sarvajara Vinda Bandhu Nandini Tushta Buddhirasta Kena Nirmalormi Chestitam Twamanena Bhanuputri Sarvadeva Veshtitam Yastaviti Vadayasva Sarva Papa Mochane Bhakti Puramasya Devi Pundarika Lochane Mam Punatu Sarvajara Vinda Bandhu Nandini 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 Jaya Jamuna Devi Jaya Jamuna Devi Jamuna Devi Jaya Jamuna Devi Jamuna Devi Jaya Jamuna Devi Jamuna Devi O Jaya Vishaka Devi Jaya Vishaka Devi Vishaka Devi Jaya Vishaka Devi
Page 306. Sri Yamunashtakam Srila Rupa Goswami. She stops one from having to go to the city of her brother Yamaraj, the Lord of Death. Simply darshan of her delivers even the most wicked of people from an ocean of sins. Her sweet waters captivate everyone's heart. May Yamuna Devi, daughter of the sun god Surya Deva, who in this song is called Aravinda Bandhu, friend of the lotus, always purify me. She adorns Indra's immense Kandava forest with her enchanting current, and upon her blooming white lotuses, birds, such as wagtails, always dance. What to speak of bathing? Simply desiring to bathe in her waters frees a sinner from his many heinous sins. May Yamuna Devi, daughter of Surya Deva, always purify me. Touching but a single drop of her water nullifies a person's most heinous of crimes. She increases the current of Raganuga Bhakti for Sri Nanda Nandana and brings auspiciousness to anyone who simply desires to reside on her banks. May Yamuna Devi, daughter of Surya Deva, always purify me. She is worshipped by the continents of the earth because she divides the 7 oceans. In other words, she merges with them. She is thoroughly acquainted with the divine play. In other words, I'm sorry. I was just reading what it says here. She merges with them. I'm sorry. In other words, she never merges with them. She is thoroughly acquainted with the divine play of Sri Mukunda. The luster of her waters censures a host of blue sapphires. May Yamuna Devi, daughter of Surya Deva, always purify me. She is ornamented by the enchanting land of Mathura, Mandala, and she expertly impels Vaishnavas, who are bound by prem, to move forward on the path of Raganuga Bhakti. With the playful arms of her waves, she worships Padmanabha, Sri Krishna's lotus feet. May Yamuna Devi, daughter of Surya Deva, always purify me. Her charming banks are adorned by large numbers of loudly mooing cows and are perfumed by celestial fragrances emanating from the flowers of rows of kandamba trees. She is overjoyed by the gathering of Sri Nanda Nandana's bhaktas on those banks. May Yamuna Devi, daughter of Surya Deva, always purify me. She is filled with the sounds of hundreds and thousands of sweetly warbling Malikaksha swans, their wings spread wide. She is worshipped by the Devas, Siddhas, Kinnaras, and persons whose hearts are dedicated to the service of Sri Hari. The slightest touch of breezes from her banks eradicates the bondage of rebirth. May Yamuna Devi, daughter of Surya Deva, always purify me. Her currents fill the 3 worlds, Bhu, Bhuva, and Swa, with transcendental knowledge, Chit Vilasa. Just uttering her glories burns the greatest deeply rooted sins to ashes. She is supremely fragrant due to unguents such as sandal paste and kunkuma, coming from the body of Balavendra Nandana Krishna. May Yamuna Devi, daughter of Surya Deva, always purify me. O Surya Putri, O Devi, O Yamuna, whose powerful waves are purifying and who is surrounded by all the demigods. For those persons of satisfied intelligence who recite this prayer, please increase their currents of bhakti for the lotus-eyed Sri Krishna, who liberates people from all their sins. This is my supplication at your feet. Haribol. 290. All together. Namami Shwaram
Sachidananda Rupam Lasakundalam Gokule Vrajamanam Yasoda Violuka Ladhavamana Paramristamatyan Tato Juta Gopya Namamishwaram Sachidananda Rupam Lasakundalam Gokule Brajamanam Rudanta Maonecha Yugmam Nijantam Karamboja Yugmena Satankaneja Mohuswasa Kamtachi Chirekanka Kanta Stitagraiva Dhammo Tarambhakti Pada Namamishwaram Sachidananda Rupam Lasakundalam Gokule Brajamana Idijriksvali Lavir Ananda Kunde Swagoshani Majantam Akyapayantam Karyeshita Geshu Bhaktarjitatvam Puna Prematastam Satavitavam O Namamishwaram Sachidananda Rupam Lasakundalam Gokule Brajamanam Varam Deva Mokshanam Namokshavadim Va Nachanyam Bene Ham Varisadapiya Idam te vaponata opalabala Sadame manasyavi astam kimpantya Namamishwaram Sachidananda Rupam Lasakundalam Gokule Brajamana Idam te mukam boja avyaktanile Ritam kintalai snigdha Rakshasya gopya Moshamitam bimba Raktadharame Manasya virasta alakshe O Namamishwaram Sachidananda Rupam Lasakundalam Gokule Brajamanam Namo Devadamo Tadananta Vishnu Prasida Prabhu Dukkha Chalabdi Magna Kripa Dristi Vrisyati Inambatano Grihanesha Mamaya Edakshi Namamishwaram Sachidananda Rupam Lasakundalam Gokule Brajamana cha Namo Kshegraho Mesti Namo Namamishwaram Sachirananda Rupam Dasakundalam Gokule Bhajamana Namaste Sudhamne Swaradipti Dhamne Tadiodarayata Vishwasadhamne Namo Radhikaya Tadiyapriyaya Nandalilaya Namo Radhikaya Tadiyapriyaya Oh Namo Radhikaya Tadiyapriyaya Namo Radhikaya Tadiyapriyaya Namo Radhikaya Tadiyapriyaya Namo Nantalilaya Devaya Tubhyam Namo Nantalilaya Devaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Damodara Radha Damodara 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 Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Damodara Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Mahamantra.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Oh, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Hari Bol.
Agyanam timirandasya Gyananjana salakaya Chaksurunmilitam yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Nama Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalai Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Nama Yang Prarajantam Manupetam Apeta Krityam Dvaipayano Virahaka Tarua Juhava Putre Ditanmayataya Taravo Banedos Tang Sarva Putaridayam Muni Bhaktya Vinay Aparada Lakshay Chaptasya Kamadi Tarangamadye Maitvam Sharanam Prapadyam Brinde Namaste Charanaravindam Tavaivasmi Tavaivasmi Najivami Tambina Iti Vigyaya Charanantikam Angashamalim Chatabirabito Mandi Kritendi Varam Jadyam Jagururochisam Bhagaratam Padambarasyash Rindaranyani Vasinam Ridila Saktamabira Modaram Radha Skandani Veshito Jalavujam Dhyayamadamodaram Dhyayamadamodaram. First I offer my unlimited obeisances in the dust of the lotus feet of my most worshipful Diksha Gurudev, Nitya Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Astotra Sat Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, and the same unlimited obeisances in the dust of the lotus feet of my most worshipful Shiksha Gurudev, Nitya Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Astotra Sat Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Goswami Maharaj, to our grandfather gurus, Shri Srimad Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Goswami Maharaj and Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, to all of his divine associates, and to all the assembled devotees, and the assembled devotees, Diksha Gurus or my Shiksha Gurus, Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Madhav Maharaj, Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Ban Maharaj, and Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Siddhanti Maharaj. So we're continuing our visit with Srila Gurudev, Srila Sanatana Goswami, Sri Satyabrat Muni, and Sri Vyasadev, in order to go into the depths of this Sri Damodarastakam prayer. Here we are, where are we? In Govardhan, at our Giridhari Gaudiya Math. We'll be spending 2 more days here, and then we'll be going back to Miami. Okay. Unless anybody just wants to stay because he came on a one-way ticket, which Gurudev said to do. We're on verse 7, and we have one more verse after today. Kuverat majo bada murtaiva yadva tvaya mochito bhakti bado krito cha tata prema bhakti swakame prayajja namoksha graho mesti damodareha. O Damodar, even though you were bound with a rope to the grinding mortar, is that because there's another mic on? You set the 2 sons of Kuvera, that is Nala Kuvera and Mani Griva, free from Narada's curse that they live as twin Arjun trees, and enabled them to become recipients of the highest possible attainment, bhakti. In the same way, please profusely bestow upon me prema bhakti for you. I long for this alone. I do not want any other kind of liberation. So in the first couple of verses, Satyavrat Muni is glorifying Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and ironically weeping, being afraid of the stick of his mother Yasoda. Krishna's name is feared by fear personified, and yet Krishna is afraid of his mother's stick. Please don't beat me, mother. So Srila Sanat, and then the next couple of verses, he's showing the superiority of Braj over all other abodes. And Krishna's teaching by this pastime that only the Brij Basis can control him, because only they see him in a familial way rather than as the Supreme Lord. This is called Lokik Sadabandhu Bhat. Bhat means like. Sadabandhu means like an ordinary friend, ordinary son, ordinary beloved friend. Lokik, like in the material world. So now we're going to hear from Srila Sanatana Goswami. In the previous verse, Sri Satyavrat Muni prayed with great eagerness for direct darshan of the Lord, because he was overcome with a special kind of prem. Prem Vishesh. Vishesh means special. However, due to the extraordinary longing in his prayers, a form of prema bhakti instantly awakened, indicating the sprout of prem, or the stage of bhava bhakti, causing him to realize that such direct darshan is only rarely accomplished. Therefore, having determined that prema bhakti is certainly the only means to attain that darshan, he now prays to Sri Krishna with the hope of attaining that prema bhakti. Alternately, the sage fears that his mind will not be satisfied after having the Lord's darshan only once, and at the same time, he dreads the agony of being separated from him, when he will not be able to see him in the very next moment. That's what happens. As soon as one sees Krishna face to face, then he can't live without him for even a second. He therefore prays to attain prema bhakti, by which one can see the Lord forever. Having ascertained that prema bhakti is the sole means for capturing the Lord forever, despite this conclusion, he still felt apprehensive. How can such a severe offender like me attain the most rare treasure of prema bhakti? So we also think like that, but we just, by that thinking, we think, well, why even try? But here's what he did. However, he was comforted when he remembered the Lord's glorious quality of bhakta vatsalya, by which the Lord makes the impossible possible. I know it's impossible for me to attain prema bhakti, but you are gatan, you have gatan, agatan, patiyasi shakti. That shakti, or power, by which the impossible becomes possible. With this conviction, he rejected all varieties of liberation. And now, in this verse, beginning with Kover Atmajao, he exclusively prays for that. With the words Badha Mortyaiva, he says, despite exhibiting the exceptional characteristic of allowing Mother Yasoda to bind you to the grinding mortar with rope, in your divine form of Sri Damodar. In other words, even in this exceptional form in which you yourself were bound, you delivered 2 sons of Kuvera from their bondage of conditioned life. This statement reveals the incomparable fortune of these twin Arjun trees. Is there anyone here who doesn't know that pastime? Hands. You know it, right? So Narada is friends with Kubera, who's the treasurer of the universe. And so he was passing along in the heavens, and he saw the sons of Kubera, and they were having illicit activities with 2 heavenly society young ladies, and the 4 of them were all naked. So Narada thought, well, these young boys are my friend's sons, so I should benedict them, but I should benedict them through a curse. Whenever the pure devotee curses, it's non-different from a benediction. So he said to them, as soon as the girls saw Narada, they immediately realized their mistake and ran and hid themselves and quickly tried to dress. But the boys, they were just belligerent with Narada. So Narada said, well, it's only the trees that stand naked. So I curse you to become naked like trees. And immediately they started feeling their body becoming hardened. And they begged Narada for forgiveness, but it was too late already. And so they became trees, but they became trees in the courtyard of baby Krishna in Gokul. And so in the meantime, Krishna was bound by his mother, tied up to the grinding mortar, his accomplice, for stealing the butter and yogurt. And with the help of his friends, he got out of the house into the courtyard, and there are these, all of a sudden, 2 trees, which his friends pushed him through. And he pulled, and they pushed. And then the trees split and fell on either side and made a very crashing sound, which made Mother Yasoda go into shock and become like a stone, unable to move, like, what if my son died? And blaming herself. But in the meantime, out of those 2 trees came 2 demigods, that is the sons of Kuvera, named Nala Kuvera and Mani Griva. And they offered beautiful prayers to Krishna, and then Krishna benedicted them to go to Goloka Vrindavan, in the spiritual abode, and become 2 singers. One singer would be in the assembly of the coward boys, and one singer would be in the assembly of the gopis. And their names would be Madhukant and Snigdhakant. And there's Haridas, trusty Haridas, with the window to the spiritual sky. Krishna had pulled the grinding mortar behind him and crawled between the 2 trees, although he was himself in a state of being bound, he liberated the two sons of Kuvera. But he did not just free them from Narada's curse and liberate them from material existence, but he gave them both prema bhakti. If someone is addressed by the phrase bhaktim bhajata, recipients of bhakti, it is understood that they have taken irrevocable shelter of bhakti as the ultimate goal, and they will never neglect bhakti in any way. Therefore, when the sage says, Bhakti bhajao kritau cha, you made kritau means made, you made both of them so dedicated to bhakti, that is really an incredible mercy, because they were just debauching and being naked with the two girls. And then they were belligerent with Narada, and still, by Narada's mercy, Krishna gave them prema bhakti. Krishna's mercy follows the devotee's mercy. In this regard, a statement is found in Srimad Bhagavatam 10.10.42, spoken to Nala Kuvera and Manigriva by the Lord himself. The prema for me that you both greatly desired has now fully arisen within your hearts. Because of this prema, you will never again be trapped in material existence. And then Srila Sanatana Goswami explains the verse. The Lord is saying, O Nala Kuvera and Manigriva, the prema for me that the two of you desired has now fully arisen in you. Therefore you will no longer have to suffer the pain of repeated birth and death. Satyavrat Muni prays, O Damodar, just as you granted them prema bhakti without any cause, because they didn't deserve it, please profusely bestow that upon me. Krishna may ask, well, why are you insisting on prema bhakti to the exclusion of everything else? Why will you not accept liberation as well, just as the two sons of Kuvera did? Otherwise, you have to repeatedly suffer miseries like birth and death if you don't ask for liberation from that. In reply to this, Satyavrat Muni said, I only insist on attaining prema bhakti. I don't want to accept moksha, because moksha can be like impersonal moksha. And Prabhupada gave the example that a mother begets a son, and she's taking care of her son, but he's not happy, because no one's happy in the world. So he said to her, Oh mother, I want to merge into your body again. So that's not good gratitude. The meaning of his words, if my repeated birth and death within material existence is destroyed by prema bhakti, then let it be destroyed. If it is not, I don't care. I have no expectation either way. Because if you have bhakti, prema bhakti, then all other attainments are achieved. Even if you're in hell, if you have prema bhakti, then you're in Vaikuntha. The sage's deep moon is understood by a simple example. If someone obtains a wish-fulfilling chintamani gem, chinta, money. Chinta means desire, whatever the mind thinks. Money means a gem. Whatever you desire, you get it from that chintamani gem. If you want innumerable diamonds, you get that. So that he is not interested in anything else if he gets that. And that's what all the land of Vrindavan is made of, that Chintamani gem. And the gopis use the Chintamani gems just to decorate their feet, so that when they move their feet, the jingling attracts Krishna. They have no desire for wealth. Therefore, the presence of prema bhakti, in that presence, what is the use of accepting a single insignificant boon like moksha? These words of the sage may also be understood in another way. O Damodar, please grant me prema bhakti specifically for you. Here, by addressing the Lord as Damodar, he prays for that prema bhakti which is related to the Krishna, the form of Krishna, whose belly is bound by a rope. That means child Krishna. It's possible to interpret this to mean the sage selfishly wants Bhagavan's waist to remain uncomfortably bound, right? I want to see forever you bound by the rope. Fearing his prayer may be misunderstood in this way, he says, do not think that I want you to remain tied, that I don't want you to be released. Overwhelmed with regret, he says, I'm certainly concerned for you. Overwhelmed with regret, he says this. However, kindly grant me that uncommon prema bhakti, which I fervently cherish. That's how we get it. How? Fervently cherishing it. And that comes from the process of Vaidhi Bhakti, or rules and regulations, mixed with the purpose of attaining spontaneous love, Raganuga Bhakti. Then Sanatana Goswami reveals yet another meaning. One could also interpret the word iha in this to mean here in Vrindavan. By this interpretation, it's understood that the sage prays, grant me prema bhakti in Vrindavan. That would be obvious because that's where Damodar is. According to the special joy of that prema bhakti, only appears, accordingly, the joy of that prema bhakti only appears in Vrindavan, because such prema bhakti manifests predominantly in Vrindavan. He prays to see the bound form of Bhagavan there. This special form, when he's bound up, can only be seen there. So in order to see this form directly, and also because of extraordinary desire to see Vrindavan Bihari, Krishna with his threefold bending form, so now Srila Gurudev is giving a commentary upon Srila Sanatana Goswami's commentary. Kuvera, the treasure of the universe, and his two sons, because of their vast wealth, became, not Kuvera, but his two sons became intoxicated by their wealth and developed a lot of pride. The scriptures describe 4 characteristics that intoxicate a man who possesses them. Janmai Swarya Shruta Sri Bir. Wealth is one of these 4. Good birth is another one. So wealth, good birth, beauty, and a noble birth, like an aristocratic family. A curse given by a saint is identical to his blessing. Both are meant for our ultimate good. But we can't always understand this. He told them, intoxicated by the pride of wealth, you have become so dull that you're acting like trees. So be it. Become like a tree. The moment that these words issued from his mouth, they started feeling their body turning into trees. So Narada consoled them by saying, listen, at the end of Dwapara Yuga, the Lord of Gokula will deliver you. And saying this, Narada left. The pure devotees are so detached. From the ancient trees, two heavenly personalities at once emerged, circumambulated Krishna, and began offering prayers. Krishna then blessed them both with prema bhakti. There they eternally recite the sweet pastimes of Krishna in Nanda Maharaja's assembly. Rupa Goswami explains how one attains this prema bhakti. Ado shraddha tato sadhu sangha tabhajana kriya tato narda nivritti syat tato nistar ruchis tata ata shaktis tato bhavas tata premam bhudanshti sadakanamayam premna pradurbhave bhavet krama. You know this verse? You should. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Can you know it by tomorrow? Can you know it by tomorrow? It's one of the most important verses in our whole bhakti system. It's the 10 steps to get from the beginning to the end. It means...
You mean by first thing tomorrow?
No, last.
Okay.
First. It's in the Nectar of Devotion as well. Because Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is summarized in Nectar of Devotion. First Shraddha comes. Ado. First Ado comes. Ado means first of all. And that means after millions of births of wandering through various species of life and gradually collecting sukritis, good pious, spiritual pious merits, and sanskars, the appropriate impressions on the heart that come from that. Then one gets shraddha, some faith. In Prabhupada's words, what is this Krishna consciousness? All right, let me sit down and see. After that, sadhu sangha. One begins to associate with saints, and he picks one of the very advanced ones for initiation, and then, by regulated devotional service, he comes to anartha nivritti, whereas all the unwanted habits and thoughts gradually begin to fade. Next, he comes to nistha, or steadiness. Before, he was in the stage of anistita bhakti, unsteadiness, sometimes enthusiastic, sometimes not, sometimes wanting to be renounced, sometimes wanting to be married, sometimes able to defeat sensory dictation. I have to have 5 pieces of chocolate cake. And sometimes what is the other? Giving up, not being able to give up sense enjoyable objects. And what's the other one that goes with that? And not being able to keep vows. And also getting puffed up by just see how much bhakti I have. Somebody just gave me a big donation. That proves it. It's called Taranga Rangani, or riding on the waves of one's minuscule bhakti. And then after anartha nivritti, where not all, but most anarthas disappear, he comes to nistha, or firmness, that I won't give up bhakti no matter what. Then he comes to taste. In nistha, it's even if I have no taste, I'm going to keep doing it. Or not no taste, but even if I have a little bit, I'm going to keep doing it. But then comes ruchi, or actual taste, when I enjoy doing all the rules and regulations of bhakti, chanting, remembering, so on. Then comes asakti, where he actually develops attachment, first for the bhajan, or the activity of devotion, chanting, hearing, remembering, worshipping. And then he becomes attached to Krishna, like a boy for a girl, or vice versa. Then he becomes mad after Krishna. At that stage, there's a descent of spiritual emotions called bhav, which come from the heart of the Ragatmika Bhakta. And then finally prem comes. So this is the gradual development of love of God. So Gurudev is saying here that prema bhakti actually develops in many sequences, but the most celebrated process, and the one that is delineated in the scriptures, is described here by Srila Rupa Goswami, who is the superintendent of the Krishna consciousness movement, in Prabhupada's words. From time immemorial, all souls who are averse to Krishna have been tossed about. How are you, Haridas?
Tossed about
By what?
by the ladle of the season.
No, you're stirred by the ladle. But what are you tossed about by?
Maya.
Tossed about by the countless waves of misery in the fathomless ocean of material existence. So when I ask you tomorrow, how are you? You can say this as well. You can say the ladle too, but you're also tossed in the waves.
Countless waves of misery.
Countless.
Fathomless oceans.
They have simply been wandering aimlessly. Where are you going?
Aimlessly nowhere.
However, when, by the special grace of the Lord, the time comes for their worldly entanglement to end, you can tell that the worldly entanglement is ending because they attain the company of devotees. And then in the association of saints, they attain a great fortune of hearing the glories of the Lord and his bhaktas and bhakti directly from the mouths of exalted personalities. Next, as a result of bhakti, unmukhi sakriti, pious merits related to bhakti. I explained this already. So hearing the prayers of Satyavrat Muni, Krishna says, O sage, you should accept liberation, which includes complete freedom from the miseries of material existence. The sage responds, O my Lord, I may encounter innumerable troubles in my life. I don't care, according to my past deeds. I don't care if I'm in hell. I don't care if I'm in the lower species. But I have no concern for my material fate. What did Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur pray? I might take birth as an insect, which is fine, as long as Haridas, as long as it's in the house of a devotee. Then maybe I'll get the prasadam, maybe I'll hear them speak Harikatha.
My worm ears.
Hmm?
Say with my worm ears.
What?
With my worm ears.
With my worm ears. That's my only prayer is prema bhakti. Now, I think I've told this about 1,000,000 times. When Gurudev was in the hospital, one of his lady disciples approached him and said, "My son was just diagnosed with a critical disease. Please bless him with good health." So Gurudev said, "What, Vasanti? Do you want me to bless you with good health? Or do you want me to bless you with bhakti?" She said, "Good health." So Gurudev said she was so foolish that she didn't realize that if you get bhakti, then everything is there, including health. But Satyarat Muni knew. So all of our acharyas explain that if a person wants this rare prema bhakti, he must always seek the association of those who have it. Like Vritrasura. Vritrasura was cursed to be a demon. He was in a big, giant demon body. But he was still a pure devotee. And in his prayers in the 6th canto, he prays, Mama tot sloka jane susakyam samsara chakre brahmatak karma bi tamaya yat majaja dada grihe svashakti chittasya nanata bhusyat. Oh Master, I don't want liberation. I'm not concerned if I must repeatedly roam about in the vicious cycle of birth and death as a result of my actions. I just pray that wherever I go, and in whichever species I take birth, may I maintain loving friendships with your dear devotees who have prema bhakti for you. O Master, I pray that I will not have to maintain any relation with those who are subjected to your illusory energy because it rubs off, and who are therefore attached to their bodies, homes, wives or husbands, children, families, and others. The genuine sadhak should aspire to have such intense greed to attain prema bhakti. And what do we do if we don't have that intense greed?
Pray that we'll get it.
Pray that we'll get it.
By reading
How?
the bhajans.
By what?
Reading the bhajans.
By reading, singing. Gurudev used to criticize the Westerners because we always use songbooks. He said that's very bad, that you don't know it by your heart. So this unprecedented greed can come to anyone in any stage of life. But when it comes, then a person is considered to be in asakti, spontaneous attachment for Krishna. Like I could be anywhere. Like I could have no money, but then if wealth comes to me, I have all that wealth. So it comes in any stage, but when it comes, one is considered to be in asakti, very exalted stage of bhakti. At that time, he becomes worshipable by the whole world. What to speak of when he's in prema bhakti? Krishna himself comes under his control. Jitapyasi, the unconquerable becomes conquered. So thus, Sri Satyavrat Muni prays, O Master, you are bound by the rope of your mother's love. Please profusely bestow upon me prema bhakti, for your form is Damodar, who is bound by his devotee. So that's what he really wants. He doesn't want him to be perpetually bound up. He wants to see that Damodar who's bound by his devotee's love. And now we're up to verse 8. Namaste stu damne sporadipti damne tadiyo darayata vishwashadamne namo radhikaya pradya priyaya namo nantalilaya devyaya tubhyam. O Damodar, I offer my respectful obeisances to the celebrated rope that binds your belly, for it is the abode of brilliant effulgence. What's the abode of brilliant effulgence? The rope. Why? Because the rope is a manifestation of who? Baladev. I offer my obeisances to your belly. Why? Because it supports the entire universe of moving and non-moving beings. I offer obeisances again and again to Srimati Radhika, your most beloved, and I offer my respectful obeisances, my divine Lord, to you, who performs unlimited transcendental pastimes. And we will see by the commentaries that he particularly means the pastimes of amorous love. So now Srila Sanatana Goswami explains. In this verse, beginning Namaste Stu, Satyavrat Muni concludes his prayers either for the purpose of attaining his cherished goal or else due to the exuberance of the uncommonly excellent form of bhakti that has now, see, this song didn't come in a day. Okay, I write this song in a day. Like Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur might write a song in a day. But this is many births spread out. So he keeps advancing. He offers separate respectful obeisances to the extraordinary rope, to his bodily limbs, and to his associates. The sage says, I offer my obeisances to the wondrous rope binding your waist. What's it like? Considering this is a question, it's the abode of refuge of all splendid effulgence. Here, he intends to establish that due to being replete with unlimited effulgence, this rope consists of the very nature of concentrated Brahma. That means concentrated spiritual reality. And he continues, next, I offer my obeisances to your belly. See, not only did Balaram become the rope, which is the refuge of concentrated effulgence, or concentrated Brahma, but Balaram becomes his earrings and his flute, things like that, because Balaram is the worshipful deity of Krishna's existence potency, by which everything exists. And what's your belly like? It's the basis of the entire universe, consisting of all created beings, both moving and non-moving. In fact, the lotus of the 14 planetary systems arose from the lotus-like navel in the center of your belly. So his expansion, removed 5 times, is Garbhodakshai Vishnu, who lies down at the bottom of the universe in the ocean created by his own perspiration. And from his navel, which is shaped like a lotus, there's the lake. From the lake in the navel sprouts a stem, and then the flower on top of that stem is Brahma's planet. And Brahma, within the stem, he creates all the 14 planetary systems. That is heavenly, earthly, and hellish. But he's the fifth part removed, incarnation. So the real source of all existence is Damodar's belly. And his navel is also shaped like lotus. Furthermore, on 2 occasions, Krishna showed his mother Yasoda his universal form while enacting his childhood pastimes in Vrindavan. It's therefore clearly understood that simply by binding Krishna's belly, the entire universe, because when Mother Yasoda was challenging Krishna that the boy said you ate earth, he said, no, I didn't. Balaram is saying it too. It's just a conspiracy. All right, open your mouth and let me see if you ate earth. So he opened his mouth, and there she saw all the universes, Brahmas, Vishnus, Shivas. She even saw herself breastfeeding Krishna. She saw all the material elements. So because she was able to bind his belly, she could bind all those universes. Loud.
Is that like, is it the way that Krishna showed her?
Can you please take a mic?
Sorry.
Well, the thing is that live stream is there.
Oh, sorry.
So we want to live stream to hear.
Is
Hello? Guru Devi, is that like when Krishna showed Arjuna his universal form, or is it different?
Well, in this one, she saw universes. It's very similar, though. But in the regard to the Gita universal form, because it's a battlefield, he saw all the fighters on both sides entering into his blazing mouths. Mother Yasoda didn't have to see that, because she didn't have to be convinced to be an instrument to the fight. So simply by binding Krishna's belly, that's how powerful Mother Yasoda is. She bound the whole universe. And in other descriptions it says there were many universes there. It's like the whole cosmic situation. Yeah, so then in the next sentence it says, by binding Krishna's belly, Mother Yasoda had in fact brought the entire cosmos under her control. Furthermore, it is impossible to bind the all-pervading, unlimited Lord, but he allowed himself to be bound, thereby displaying his bhakta-vatsalya, his exceptional affection for his devotees. By logic, it cannot be understood how all the unlimited universes are encompassed in Krishna's belly. Yet even this wonderful belly was bound. Thus the sage implies here that by allowing himself to be bound, and thereby allowing the universes to be bound, a pastime completely beyond all logical considerations, displayed his unparalleled opulence and grandeur. So here we have it again, that in Vrindavan, where Krishna's devotees are only interested in that lokik sadabandhu bhat. Can you all say it? Lokik sadabandhu bhat. Ordinary relationships. He's my son, he's my friend, he's my master's kid, he's my beloved. So Krishna, in that arena, he showed many universes in his belly. So that shows that there's more opulence in Vrindavan than there is in Vaikuntha, or in the causal ocean, where innumerable universes spring from Mahavishnu's body on his breath, and it all goes in. And there are innumerable universes in every pore of Mahavishnu's body. So Krishna has that too. But nobody ever sees him as God there. Because there's so much sweetness. So after he offered obeisances to the robe, he offered obeisance to the belly, implying that the robe is resting there. Also, it implies that he's offering obeisances in order of increasing superiority, because his belly is superior to the robe. At this point, the sage understands that only by the mercy of Krishna's beloved ones can he attain his cherished goal. And with this understanding, he offers obeisances to Krishna's most beloved, Bhagavati Srimati Radhika, by the words Namo Radhikayai. In fact, by offering obeisances to Radhika, he actually conveys his obeisances to all the gopis. Or, a different understanding is that he's offering his pranam to her alone because he regards her as the foremost of all gopis. Srila Sanatana Goswami now sheds light on why he uses the word Radhika. You want to hear that? That's amazing. She's forever wrapped in arousing his pleasure. It's as though this word alone, Aradhana, that one can understand the profound meaning of Radhika's name, because she's the supreme worshipper of Krishna. More than anybody, she's always absorbed in how he can have pleasure. Therefore, the sage says to Krishna, Sri Radhika is Tvadiya Priyayai, your most beloved. Alternately, Radhika can be understood by its conventional sense without any consideration of etymology. In that case, it's understood that the sage is saying, even without considering her worship of you, she is simply your eternal beloved. Furthermore, he says, due to the love that all your devotees have for you, they are very dear to her. Like if you love someone and you're seeing anyone else love them, then you love them for loving your beloved. In other words, you are her Nityapriya, eternal beloved. In this way, he's proclaiming her exceptional love. His words can be understood in two ways. I offer my obeisances to you, the beloved of Radhika, or to her, Radhika. Whoever loves you is worthy of adoration by the whole universe. We sing that also throughout Kartik, the Sad Goswami Astakam. What does it say, Vasanti? You sing it every morning. the beginning, which says that because you're never envious of anyone and you're so dear to Krishna, so the ruffians and all gentlemen, they all adore you. Can we look at that verse, page 250, 264? Kadagraja, you look prepared. It's the first verse and the second verse. Loud with a mic.
In English,
Yeah.
perpetually immersed in singing, dancing, and heartfelt kirtan of the name, form, qualities, pastimes, associates, and realm of Sri Krishna, the six Goswamis embody the ocean of nectarian love. Dear to both gentlemen and ruffians, always engaged in pleasing activities and completely free from envy, they are adored by all. They are the recipients of Sri Chaitanya's immense mercy, and they therefore remove the burden of the earth through the distribution of bhakti ras. I worship the six Goswamis. Shri Rup, Shri Sanatan, Shri Raghunath Bhatta, Shri Raghunath Das, Shri Jiva, and
The
Gopal.
second verse.
They are uniquely expert in ascertaining the essence of all revealed scriptures, and they establish the supreme occupation of the soul, Bhagavad Bhakti. They are the true benefactors of the people, worshipful for the three worlds, and affectionate to those who have taken shelter of them. Due to the bliss of bhajan of the lotus feet of Sri Sri Radha and Krishna, they have become like intoxicated honeybees. I worship Sri Rup, Sanatan, Raghunath Bhatta, Raghunath Das, Jiva, and Gopal Bhatta Goswamis.
Thank you. At the end of the prayers, he wanted to describe Srimati Radhika's pastimes with Krishna, such as Rasa Leela, which are most worshipful. However, recognizing that such pastimes are extremely confidential, he didn't specifically describe them. Instead, according to the popular adage, Madhurena Samarpayat, what does that mean? Everything should end sweetly. He submitted his obeisances to Madhurya Ras through a slight hint with the words Namo Nantalila. So these are particularly referring to amorous pastimes. Next he says, Devaya, I offer obeisances to the playful divinity, or he who is supramundane, the Lord, Sri Bhagavan. By mentioning Sri Damodar, Krishna's divinity, he implies that all of Krishna's pastimes are simply transcendental. Otherwise, since the word Deva is derived from Div, he who is ever rejoicing in playful sports. What does Div mean? Anybody? What?
He who is forever rejoicing in playful sports.
So therefore he's saying, O Deva, because you are eternally engaged in playful pastimes with Radhika, I offer my obeisances to you. The performer of Anantalila, or unlimited pastimes. Here, the word Anantalila certainly refers to all of Bhagavan's pastimes in Gokula as well. Thus, yet another meaning of his words is illuminating. Now we're going to hear now we're going to hear tomorrow. Okay, so tomorrow we will end his prayers. We will complete his prayers. Are there any questions or comments? Any of the visitors? Any questions or comments?
Guru Devi, Could you please explain to me? I didn't understand. In the
Me
Sri
neither.
in the Sri Yam, in the Sri Yamunastakam, you had corrected me. I was just reading. It says here, in other words, she merges with them. But you were quite adamant of her not
Yeah,
merging.
because I have that version. You have a previous version.
I see. Can you explain why?
Not
that's-
only do things get corrected, but let's just change the translation
Oh boy. Can you
Like instead
explain
of
why
darshan, they'll
this
say
is so important?
to
Why?
see.
Can you-
What? Why
Can
is
you
it important?
please explain
Because
why
she's
that's
transcendental.
so
She's
important?
not a material entity, so she's not going to merge. She remains aloof. You go everywhere, but you don't merge.
Is that tinged with personalism?
Huh?
Is that translation tinged with impersonalism?
No, it's just a typo. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Shri Damodarastakam ki jai. Ki Shri Kartik Brat ki jai. Niyam Seva Brat ki jai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Gora Haribo, 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 Gora Haribo. Jai Gora Haribo, Haribo, Haribo. Gaur Premanande, Panchakovataribhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhyeva cha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo. So now we'll have Arati and then Prasadam.